In the movie, girls are kidnapped by dangerous people who eat humans. One of them is very dangerous as he is deformed and very powerful. The chemicals that affected him turned him into a monster. Keep watching to know what happens when a girl tries to escape this place. At the beginning of the movie, we saw a girl running through the jungle, trying to save her life even though she was badly injured. Suddenly, a tall, broad man appeared from behind. He was deformed and a cannibal, meaning he ate people and wore masks made from human skin. These deformed people had changed due to harmful chemicals, making them dangerous. The size of this deformed man was huge. The man who was deformed chased the girl and covered her entire face with one hand. He was so strong that he crushed her face with just his hand. This is why people called him Crusher. Crusher then took the girl's body back to his house, which was in the middle of the jungle. At home, his big brother was sitting comfortably watching TV. Crusher carried the body outside and began cutting it into pieces. On the TV, a tape was playing, showing Crusher killing the same girl. Now, he was cutting her into pieces. These people had imprisoned the girl and tortured her, but she somehow managed to escape. However, Crusher found her, killed her, and now she would be their food. They fried her flesh in oil with onions and ate it. After this, the movie shifted to a group that kidnapped the daughter of a rich man and locked her in the car's trunk. The group included a thug, his brother, a boy, and his cousin Sarah. Sarah and her cousin were not actual kidnappers, but they were forced to help the thugs. No one in the group knew where they were heading except for the thug, but he refused to tell anyone. Later, they stopped at a gas station. The thug remained in the car while his brother went to fill up the fuel. After a while, Sarah and her cousin went inside the store, where they noticed the back door was open. Sarah's cousin wanted to escape, but didn't want to leave his sister behind. In front of their car, an old man was filling up his truck. Then, a sheriff arrived and began talking to the old man, which made the two thugs nervous. The thug in the car took out his gun. Sarah and her cousin then came out of the store, and the sheriff started talking to them as well. This made the thugs even more worried, as they feared the sheriff might suspect them. However, Sarah talked to the sheriff and successfully distracted him. After this, they continued moving forward. However, along the way, the thugs started arguing with everyone. Suddenly, a large deer appeared in front of them. The thug, who was driving, lost control of the car and hit the deer directly. While the others managed to escape, the thug got stuck, and the poor deer died. Its horns pierced the thug's chest. The others tried to move the deer off him, but the deer was too heavy, causing the thug a lot of pain. The situation got worse when the deer regained consciousness and started making noises. The thug couldn't handle the pain, so he shot the deer in the head. Even after that, he wasn't going to survive. His brother took the gun from him and asked where they needed to go, but the thug still wouldn't tell. Out of frustration, the thug's brother shot him in the head, ending his life. Now that the thug was dead, their plan fell apart. They were unsure of what to do next, and the car was no longer drivable. This meant they had to continue on foot. They didn't know whether to go forward or return to the gas station. They also had to figure out what to do with the kidnapped girl, and she was wondering the same thing. While they were in this dilemma, a truck arrived, and a man inside offered to take two of them to the gas station for help. However, the other thug had a different plan. He thought all three of them could go, and he would take the kidnapped girl with him. Instead of going back, he decided to move forward. He shot the man who had come to help, causing him to collapse, even though he had good intentions. The thug was about to fire another shot, but Sarah's brother stopped him. The truck driver took this chance to escape. The thug felt the urge to kill Sarah's brother as well, but with Sarah there, he couldn't do it. Now, with no other choice, he took the kidnapped girl and continued walking into the jungle. Meanwhile, Crusher's brother had been watching them, and the sight of them made him hungry. He saw potential meals in front of him that he didn't want to miss. He quickly went home to get Crusher, who was sitting sadly. Crusher mentioned how his new friend, the girl he had killed, had also left him, running for her life. His brother told him that they had new friends now, so they both hurried off. As they drove the truck, the man who had been helping them died from his gunshot wounds. His car stopped on the side of the road, and an old man passing by noticed it. The old man immediately called the sheriff, who realized the situation was serious because the man had been shot. When news broke on the radio about 4 kidnappers running away with a girl, the sheriff remembered the faces of the 4 people he had seen earlier in the morning. He called for more police backup and went ahead to investigate. Meanwhile, Sarah's brother was taking care of the kidnapped girl, whose name was Ash, but Crusher was still following them. The thug had grown tired of everything and wanted to kill Sarah's brother too. However, before he could shoot him, someone else fired a shot. It was Crusher's brother. When he arrived, Sarah started pretending that the thug had been a bad man who was kidnapping them and asked him to save them. She kept trying to fool him, but Crusher's brother wasn't affected by her lies. Sarah's brother also stepped forward. But before he could say anything, Crusher's brother pointed a gun at him and silenced him. He took them to his car, which surprised them because they didn't know why he had brought them there. In reality, Crusher's brother wanted the deer's head, as he couldn't leave such delicious food behind. He left Ash with Crusher so that Crusher could become friends with him. But instead of befriending Ash, Crusher killed him and knocked him out. Meanwhile, Crusher's brother had Sarah's brother remove the deer's head. Then, both Sarah and her brother managed to pull the deer's head out from the body. When the time came to take the head, Sarah's brother asked if they didn't want the meat. Crusher's brother then told them that they didn't eat animals. Sarah's brother thought maybe he was a vegetarian who only ate vegetables. However, he didn't understand properly when Crusher's brother said they didn't eat animals. They were cannibals who ate humans. Crusher eventually returned home with Ash. After getting some sleep, he went outside, and it became clear that Ash had only pretended to be unconscious. However, while trying to escape, she bumped into things and actually woke up for real. Crusher's brother arrived soon after, and when Crusher saw him, he seemed anxious. He placed the deer's head in a shed and told Sarah to smile, which she did with a fake grin. Meanwhile, the sheriff reached the car. He was puzzled because there had been an accident. The goon had been shot, and the deer's head had been removed. To figure things out, he followed the bloodstains that led him forward. Eventually, he would arrive at Crusher's home. Inside the house, Sarah tried to strike a deal with Crusher's brother. She offered him half of the ransom they'd get for kidnapping the girl if he let them go. But money meant nothing to him. Instead, he offered her lemon water, which Sarah refused at first, saying she didn't take drinks from strangers. Crusher's brother apologized and offered a handshake. Sarah, thinking she was making progress, reached out, but he suddenly slammed her hand into the table. She feared the lemon water was poisoned, but realized if Crusher's brother had wanted to kill her, he would have done it in the forest. She reluctantly drank it. As she drank, she insulted Crusher's brother, calling him a murderer. But he calmly explained that while they do kill, it's not done messily or quickly. They enjoy their kills, crushing their victims' faces with one hand before cooking and eating them. Soon after, she realized it wasn't poison but a sedative. Crusher's brother then approached Ash, who was tied to a chair and still pretending to be unconscious. He broke the lock and removed the cloth from her mouth, revealing her face for the first time. In another room, Crusher easily killed Sarah's brother with one hand. Crusher's brother then ordered Crusher to lock Ash in the shed, which he did, also leaving Sarah outside. Crusher's brother recorded everything for his own twisted enjoyment. He also tied Sarah's brother to a chair and tortured him while filming his screams. As Ash saw this, she decided to free herself by rubbing the ropes on the deer's antlers. Crusher's brother continued torturing Sarah's brother, burning his wounds to stop the bleeding. Ash had two choices, run away or act. She chose action. She grabbed a shotgun, loaded it, and filled her pockets with extra bullets. She burst into the room, shooting Crusher first. Then, she aimed the gun at Crusher's brother, freeing Sarah's brother. They tied up both brothers and brought them outside. Ash kept Crusher's brother alive because she needed him to show them the way to the road. Sarah's brother, still alive. However, while walking, Crusher's brother caught up to Sarah's brother, who urged Ash to shoot, but she hesitated. In that moment, Crusher's brother broke Sarah's brother's neck, killing him. Ash still didn't shoot, so Sarah took the gun and shot Crusher's brother. Now, with the gun in Sarah's hands, Ash was once again under her control. Sarah pointed the gun at Ash when suddenly someone shot Sarah in the head. It was the sheriff. He thought Sarah was going to kill Ash, so he shot her to protect her. The sheriff asked Ash some questions and then took her to his house. When they arrived, they realized Crusher was missing. Ash knew they were in danger. She wanted to flee, but the sheriff handcuffed her and left to find Crusher. Crusher found the sheriff and crushed his head with one hand before chopping his body into pieces. Ash managed to break free from the handcuffs. As Crusher started throwing the sheriff's body parts, Ash grabbed a knife and went outside. Crusher's brother appeared with a gun, but Ash killed him by stabbing him in the head. Before dying, he shouted for Crusher, who soon arrived. Ash grabbed the gun and shot at him, then ran off with more bullets. Crusher, though weakened from the gunshot wounds, chased after her. Ash reached the road, where the police were waiting. But before she crossed over, she locked eyes with Crusher, daring him to come closer. She threatened to kill him and then go to the police. Crusher, weakened and knowing he couldn't win, backed away. Ash went with the police. That night, the police returned to the house, but Crusher, watching from nearby, slipped away. He went back to prepare for his next move. His killing spree wasn't over. He wanted revenge, and the bloodshed would continue.